I'm going to give you a G.K. Chesterton quote. I'm Daniel Whittington, Chancellor of Woodford Academy and Whiskey Marketing School, level 4 whiskey sommelier. Should I include that? I don't know. It feels pretentious. I think I'm going to leave it out. This will be maybe the last time I do it for these videos. So I was reading a G.K. Chesterton book, a book he's called The Thing. And I'm going to read this quote because I don't have it memorized. There exists, in such a case, a certain institution or a law, let us say, for the sake of simplicity, a fence or a gate erected on the road. The more modern type of reformer goes gaily up to it and says, I don't see the point of this, let us remove it. To which the more intelligent type of reformer would do well to answer, if you don't see the use of it, then I certainly won't let you clear it away. Go away and think. And then, when you can come back and tell me what the use of it is, then I might allow you to destroy it. Now, I love that because what it popped into my head is this very real truism, which is, I've been thinking about this in the industry a lot lately, especially the whiskey industry, but this is true in general. Change for change's sake is not always improvement. Sometimes it's just motion. When you show up and your first impulse is just to change everything, but you have not done any of the work to understand the why of everything, you have no business making changes to things. Every time I turn around, someone is like redoing fonts, changing their bottle labels, updating their boxing, redoing their packaging, changing their backstory. Now, to be fair, I'm not anti-change. I am currently in the midst of a campaign with one of my clients redoing all of their bottles and their labels and their logos and how we tell their stories. So, pot, kettle. But too often, we start to change things before we understand. A very, very small example, and I'm not going to point at any one brand. You come in as a new marketing agency for a brand. You're tasked with doing something cool, new, innovative. You start completely rethinking the entire design of the label and everything. And you know how much work goes into that. Anybody who's done a label graphic design understands how painful it is. It's months and months of, how about this font? How about that font? How about this color? How about if we put the block here? What if we put the little logo icon on the bottom left instead of the bottom right? And it goes on endlessly. You can sometimes, in that process, forget that the same thing happened to the label and box and logo and branding before you got there. Someone else, many, many someones, likely went through all of this pain already. And they came to very specific conclusions. You would do well before you overhaul a brand's complete profile to try to find somebody who was involved in the process of the last round of branding and ask them why. Is that fair? Okay, now I'm going to say, this is not a whiskey problem. This is an industry problem, and this is a human problem. I'm going to tell you how we fail at Wizard Academy sometimes. But first, let's try Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength Rye. Now, Woodford Reserve Rye is fairly recent in the history of the brand, comparatively speaking. And Barrel Strength came out in 2025? Last year? Like, it's pretty new. This bottle specifically was a gift from TJ Jareco, one of our whiskey somms. Thank you, TJ. And, okay. Remember, Woodford Rye is like really barely over the legal minimum for rye. It's like 50-30. And then a lot of corn and a lot of barley. And I always find that funny that like all the Kentucky guys, when they do rye, they just barely cross the threshold of rye and then like, okay, that's enough. And so you get these like super spicy bourbons. Basically. But this is fun, and it's higher proof. It is 125.1. It is everything you love about a Kentucky rye if you like Kentucky rye. It is grass, molasses, dust, slight mint, almost mint julep direction, very sweet mint. There's a wooden dryness to it, and there's sort of a round, probably the barley, there's a roundness to it instead of just all spiky and fresh. Ooh, okay. It drinks really dry. A very coffee chocolate molasses, which does not come from trees, by the way. the callback. Okay. I like the nose better than the palate. The palate's a little bit dry. I forgot my water. But I think cherry, spicy, dry, nutty kind of, like really overly candied nuts, but with that dry sort of taste in your mouth you get from, eating not peanuts, but something in that direction. Interesting. If you like Kentucky Rye, you're gonna be good. Is it gonna be? I think they're selling it for like $130. And if that's the case, 50? Sure. I'm not a huge rye fan, so I'm the wrong person to ask. But I think this, it's a damn fine Kentucky Rye. Okay, so don't tear down a fence unless you know why the fence is there. Remember, there's a past to things. We run at Woodford Academy more than 30 events a year. There's a well-worn path of book an event, prep the tower, order the groceries, set up things, bring the students in, send their emails out, order the food. We can get into this sort of like Groundhog Day loop. And we work with the same food vendors all the time. And so it can very often be like, man, we've had this same meal like 7 times this month. Can we cater in something new? Because we're bored. And then something happens. One time we used a restaurant that we've used for 15 years. We didn't use it for a class with a bunch of returning students because we were a little bored. We wanted to try something new. And we were tired of eating the same thing all the time. The problem is the students don't have our experience. The students are here once a year, maybe twice a year. And it turns out that the meals are one of the things they look forward to. We swapped out a meal. In a class of 20 people, more than half of them were visibly disappointed that we did not include that one restaurant. It hurt a little. It was a quiet but a very real lesson. Not all change is improvement, which I sort of referenced before on another video. All this to say, be patient. Before you tear down a fence, understand why the fence was built. If you can't explain the purpose that something serves, don't assume it serves no purpose. Take your time, then come back. Sometimes change is necessary and powerful. Sometimes it's just a change. Cheers to you, and I'm really glad you're here. If there's one change you should make in your life, it should be that if you're not subscribed to this channel, that you subscribe to this channel and like it.